Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in this gospel, broad left up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Real quick, this is a lesson of this famous YouTuber. I believe she was an Iraqi by the name of Tiba Al-Ali, which is a famous YouTube blogger, which is folly, basically. What you know in these little third world countries, these Muslim countries, is the fact that you're born and you raised in a family of Muslims, such as Iraq, Afghanistan, even in Syria, which you have different sects of Muslim. You have Shiite and you have Sunni. I believe those of Syria may be of more of a Sunni fashion, and then the ones of Iraq, Afghanistan may be more of a Shia type Muslim, which they claim to both believe in Allah, but they adopt different principles and rules and so forth. But you have different cultures within these regions too. But allegedly, well, it's not allegedly, her father put her to death, which, you know, is sparking an outcry in YouTube land and in the world. It says Iraqi YouTuber killed by her father in quote unquote honor killing. And this is what happens when you have democracy in your world. When they come to your country, they declare war, then they try to set up ways you can deal with your families, your children. And this is the reason why Ishmael have been fighting Esau. Because due to this role of feminism, okay, this so-called liberalism shit, this poison that they've spread it among the earth due to America's influence, okay, the scriptures goes into the nations were angry because they drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. And this is it. Because, you know, if you're a father and you're from one of these Muslim countries, last thing you do is you want your daughters to come over here to America and become pretty much turned out by the culture. And this is what you're seeing here, okay? Because the Arabs, man, for the most part, they got their families in order. Okay, you know, their wives are in order, the children are in order, and they come here abroad to go to school. Usually, if they're well off, they will send back for them to go back home. But see, Esau has indoctrinated the world through his wickedness, to the point that these countries are allowing their children to become natural citizens of Babylon, and then they get turned out by the culture. Like I think it was an East Indian woman. I seen it 2 days ago. Basically, she was twerking. She had a whole get up on, but she had a fat ass and she was twerking, literally. But that's unheard of. But when you come to the West, no, that's totally acceptable. And then the women, they adopt the culture, they adopt the mindset, and then before you know it, you got rebelliousness, you got wickedness on your hands. Okay, so a lot of times too, when their daughters come over here for school, a lot of times the father, he'll just totally disown them. Okay, they get disowned by their parents because they know what to expect, because they've watched it, they've seen it, they understand the culture. And they know that the culture, this American culture, this Western culture, promotes nothing but whoredom and feminism. Okay, and this is basically what's become of this. Because for one thing, why are you a blogger? Okay, YouTube blogger. Okay, like what are you doing? You know, you're putting out degrading content, you're putting yourself out there, you know, you're showing your cleavage, and as time goes on, it becomes worse. For you know it, you be twerking on top of headlights, stopping at the red light. You know, you have multiple men. You bring home nigga babies. Little inside thing. But basically, everybody's pissed off at the father because he put judgment on it, which that's his right. All right. It says YouTuber killed by a father caused outrage in Iraq. And the reason why it's causing outrage is because, like I said, the poison that the West has spread it among these nations, everybody's feminist now. Okay, even if you are living in countries like Iraq, Iran, you know, Syria, and she married a Syrian dude too, and that's totally unacceptable when you have those two different factions of Muslims. That's totally unacceptable in some cases. But you know, everybody is pretty much poisoned by so-called democracy, to the point that even people in their own countries are bucking up against this guy. But years ago, that never would have been heard of. They would have honored this man for executing judgment on his daughter, because she's basically become detestable. She's become a shameful thing, man. Because your kids are oftentimes a representation of you and how you raise them. You see, and it's become, now that they're pissed off at this guy. So let's look at a couple of these videos and see what's up, man. مرحبا
وسهلا بكم فيديو جديد بقناتي. وياكم اني طيبة.
Yeah, see, she's getting a little promiscuous. You see what I'm saying? Getting a little promiscuous. You know, it says her father was reported to have been unhappy about her decision to live alone in Turkey. And Turkey is, for the most part, I mean, they're allies with America, but they have a lot of democracy going on in Turkey as well. They have a lot of ways of Western culture, which you can say that Turkey is pretty much a Westernized culture. Okay, because they adopt the same the principles that they do here in the West. I believe Turkey is still a partner allied of NATO. Okay, which America spears that. So he wasn't dealing with that. So let's read it. And that Syrian man could very well be an Edomite, man. And they know the difference. Because Ishmael, he can't stand Esau. Okay? Because Esau has been putting hell on Arabs for the longest. Okay? Trying to uproot their culture with democracy. And this is the result of it.
أنا كلش ممتنة إنه أني كنت قوية وواجهت، إنه أني مشيت وراء أحلامي.
See, it was all women, feminists, man. That was unheard of in that country. They had their women in order. But you see the wickedness that Esau has spread. Now they're out protesting her getting judged up. And luckily she didn't live here in America, because if she was in America, she would have had on way less clothes than that. Okay, at least she was still somewhat covered up. But even then, just imagine if she lived in Babylon the Great, it would have been a far worse situation. So, and he still took her ass out like, nah, fuck that, you know? And what are the chances you had an earthquake that hit there like 2 days ago? But it says YouTube star Tiba Ali allegedly strangled by her father, triggering honor killing. If they knew their heritage and they knew their culture, they would have understood what happened. But these people, like I said, they're embracing feminism, and this is the result of it, which that is going to end with the demise of the Western Empire, the Western hegemonies. Okay, feminism was never set up to last long. That was set up to destroy, and to enslave, and to encapsulate, and to destroy the minds of the youth. Okay, now look at the results of it. And it says, protests in Iraq decry father's alleged honor killing of daughter Star. It says she was 22 years old. Star, whose honor killing sparked an outrage. And who gives a anyway. Like I said, if she was living in America, it would have been far more worse. But I think the biggest thing is the fact that she married a Syrian guy, okay, which he could very well be an Edomite. And Ishmael ain't dead doing that. He's not dealing with that at all. He despises Esau because he understands the blood quarrel to some degree. All right, then you got some Ishmaelites. They're in league with Esau. A lot of them are, you know. But yep, she's getting westernized, man, and he ain't dealing with that shit. So he's like, you know what? I'll take your ass out, and that's within his right. You know, and I'm not sure about the Quran or all the principles that they follow as far as being in their culture, but I do know that they adopt a lot of the same principles that we as the Hebrew Israelites adopt to when it comes to our families and our women, because for the simple fact they're considered Abrahamic philosophies, because remember, Ishmael was a son of Abraham. So a lot of the customs and so forth that Ishmael received, he understood the oaths and so forth, and he knew, okay, because he was brought up with those principles. Okay, though he was the bondman, okay, the bond servant, he was casted out. But nonetheless, he still adopted a lot of the same principles, okay? But we're two total different cultures, all right? But when it comes to the family and having women in order, they're pretty much spot on that. So I got a couple of precepts here that deals with that. Proverbs 30 and 17. It says, the eye that mocketh at his father and despiseth to obey his mother, the ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it, man. Okay? Get judgment put upon you, because the scriptures say, honor thy father and thy mother, and your days should be prolonged. Okay? And she dishonored her father. Why? Because she's become westernized, okay, dealing with that culture. Like, I got some Ishmaelites, well, there may be some Syrians, they live below me. Now I hear them down there loud as fuck. Now they may just be loud because it's just how they are, but oftentimes, I hear them yelling at her. She's screaming back at him, But I come outside, she has a hair wrap on, but she has pants. No, you don't wear pants. If you know the scriptures say you're not supposed to wear pants. You're supposed to wear a long dress to cover up. But constantly he's in alt with her because, for one thing, why would you move your wife over here to America with you? That's stupid. You asking for an issue when you bring your family to this place because they're gonna get turned out by the culture. Like I see it all the time. Like these Africans, these Southern Sudanese, these Hamites. Some of them be Jake too, but a lot of times they come over here. They go to school, and then they go to school with Keisha, Esau, and then they start adopting the culture, and they become even more arrogant because they come over here already arrogant. They think they're better than you, Jake. But see, they hide behind you, and then they befriend you, and then they turn against you because they don't like you anyway. They just thinking about how to overthrow you. All right, but I see it all the time. They come from these different countries, and before you know it, you got big, ugly, tall African bitches acting proud and standoffish. Straight up, man. You got Manute Bogue type women, 7 feet tall, that just clearly look like just dark as night. No type of feature, no nothing. Look like spooks, man. And they act proudly towards you like they better than you, man. But that's what happens when you come to this fucking place. That's why the Most High got to destroy it. But it says here, Deuteronomy 21:18, it says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which would not obey the voice of his father, she didn't obey the voice of her father because they specified that he didn't want her living over there, but she decided not to return back to their home country. He wasn't dealing with it. Like, you know what? All right. He already felt some type of way. Because the thing of it is, in that culture, I believe the father marries off the daughter to men, just like in our culture. Scriptures say, marry thy daughter to a man of understanding, which thou hast performed the weightier matter of the law. But she went ahead and got married more than likely without the father's permission, and he probably didn't approve of the guy. Because remember, the daughter is the property of the father until she's transferred to the husband. So the woman would never technically be her own boss. Okay, from the moment she's born, she's the property of her father. Okay, and then her father finds her a husband. They meet, the families come together. He marries her off, and then she becomes the husband's property. But 9 times out of 10, her being westernized, that didn't go down like that. Okay, she probably saw some simp cuck beta male, saw some movie on TV from westernized movies and saw a cuck that was similar. Then she decided to marry him. She didn't like fuck her father. And that's an ultimate sign of disrespect. Okay, at least, the father spit in your face, man, which means that he's shamed in you. I mean, he's through with you. Pretty much he's going to wash his hands of you. You do that now to a female, they're like, oh my God, how can you dare do that to that woman? This world is totally backwards, man. But it says, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother. And you notice they put the father first because the father has the authority over the households. It says the voice of his father or the voice of his America, and the voice of his mother, and that which is spiritual, though, because, America represents the fucking woman, okay, the whore, and the women is totally in the spirit of Babylon the Great. It says, or the voice of his mother, and that which they have chastened him will not hearken unto them. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him unto the elders of his city, and unto the gates of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious, and he will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Okay, and this is a custom that all nations are supposed to follow because they're supposed to go under our law, which is the law of the universe, man, the laws of the world. This law, statutes, and commandments from the Most High himself will be set upon high. So you nations will have to adopt this particular philosophy, which is the truth. Okay, and if those people in Iraq, they had a right sense of mind and they wasn't so feminized by this Western culture, and this is what happens when you have cell phones. You have cell phones, smart TVs, you have social media, That's the main thing. When you have that, then you have confusion. But if they was in the right spirit, they all would have partook in the destroying or the killing of this young lady here, man. Okay, because it was necessary, it wasn't really murder. I mean, they would call it murder, but he called it honor killing because she despised her father. That's in the law. You're not supposed to disrespect you, or you're not supposed to curse your mother or your father, man. Your father, your mother. And that's not saying fuck you. No, that's not that. Even though you shouldn't say that to your parents either. Even though those are just words, but ultimately wishing harm upon your parents. No. All right. This is the book of Colossians 3:20. It says, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Okay. And a lot of times you don't have the children, they don't obey the parents. Oftentimes you got a term what they call rebellious daughters. A lot of times when daughters are mad at their fathers, they do the total opposite. You could teach your daughter certain things, and as she's around you, she gravitates to your vibe. She knows what you don't like. She knows what you like. She knows what pushes your buttons. If you don't give her that new Sweet 16 or that new Jeep for our 16th birthday, then she's gonna go out and deal with Chad. The man who the father told his daughter to stay away from. Stay away from that guy. He's no good. Well, piss off your daughter, she's gonna go and be rebellious and do exactly the opposite of what you taught her. Okay, that's only here in fucking America. In the other nations, they're feeling the wrath too. This is why it's getting ready to be protesters all over the place, and they're gonna come against this place. And honestly speaking, when this place falls, those nations ain't gonna feel bad about this place, man. The only people that's gonna cry for this place falling is those that was in league with it from abroad, from different nations and so forth. But the average person that has a problem with the westernized democracy, they not gonna feel bad when this fucking place fall. Hell no, they not gonna feel bad, because for what? It's done nothing but destroy lives, man. Destroy cultures. That's what Esau does, because he don't have a culture of his own outside of being a devil. All right. Exodus 12:20 and 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. Plain as day. Proverbs 29:15. It says, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame, right? Okay, because there's no discipline in the homes. You see, the kids get away with everything. This is why you had what they call the Kia boys. Why? Because they didn't have fathers in their lives, and their mothers were too drunk and high and on too many different cock carousels to care what them little niggas were doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them don't even know who their fathers are. Hence the Kia boys, going around stealing people's cars, and all of a sudden they end up split between a divider on the highway somewhere. His head taken off because he was being rebellious. Now what? Who's going to mourn you then? All right. Leviticus 20:9. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother should be surely put to death. And she cursed him indeed. Okay, she might not say fuck it. She probably had arguments with him, because clearly he must have brought it to her attention. And I know those older coaches, they're very vocal about how they feel about situations, especially when you're not upholding family principles and ideals. They'll tell you how they feel about you. And she lucky he didn't stone her ass, because a lot of times, man, they find a lot of women that come from over there to here, and they go back home. The father stone their ass, man. You literally kill them. They stone them. They still stone you over there, man. And they get that from the Bible. Okay, the Abrahamic religions, as they call it. But regardless of that, she cursed him indeed, because I'm sure he was vocal about her being over there. He probably told her, like, look, man, you go over there, the culture is not good. You're going to forget your morals. You need to come home. But see, these women and these men too, they get so full of themselves, and this is why you should watch what they call The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix, man. Very good documentary. I would recommend that until the missiles come. Watch that, and watch the type of mind that it puts in people, because it's witchcraft at the end of the day. One like turns into 100 likes, and 100 likes turns into 1,000 likes, and before you know it, you're a whole different, your mentality totally shifts. You forget about everything that once made you humane, and then you become part of the system, and then you become a clout chaser, and you acting like something you're not. And then before you know it, you threw everything you've learned out the window, including your principles, your philosophies, the way of living, and you become an offense. All right, that's why a lot of times these men, they disown their daughters. They come over here to the West, they can't come back home. Like that famous tennis, I think she was like a chess player. I believe she's from like she's from Iraq too, if I'm not mistaken, or Syria. She's from one of those countries. But basically, man, say you come back home, we gonna fuck you up. Because they said, how dare you disrespect our culture, by not covering up and showing yourself to be a modest woman. Bad enough you are already in league with the West, but yet you're on TV with no covering on. That's a shameful thing, man. Okay? Our women was covered. Even when you go into the law of jealousy, it tells you that how the women was covered up from head to toe. Our women supposed to be covered from their heads to their toes, man. And you got certain garments that women wore to let you know if they was available, they were married, okay, or they were prostitutes. But regardless, they still dressed modestly. Okay? Shit, they find me a modest prostitute in this world. A modest prostitute in an ancient world is probably more righteous than any woman we got walking around here today. Okay, and a lot of prostitutes back in the ancient world were put away, widowed, or they were just a bunch of demons. You see, but today, shit, I'll grab an ancient world harlot any day and make her a woman of mine before any of these women on the side. Show you how far you've come. All right, but it says here, he have cursed his father or his mother, his blood should be upon him. All right, Proverbs 29:17. Correct thy son, and he should give thee rest. Yea, he should give delight unto thy soul. All right. Proverbs 13:24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasten him betimes. Okay. And you're supposed to chasten your kids. You got to keep them on point. Because the scriptures say, train up a child in the way they should go, and they should not depart from it. All right. Ephesians 6:4 says, and ye fathers provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonishment of the Lord, meaning teaching them the commandments of the Lord. Okay. Admonish them when they go off, correct them. Don't be abusive or don't just overly kick their ass because they look, because they coming. Nah, man. But you got to be on your kids, especially your damn daughters. But you notice they mention the sons more often because the sons is what rules nations, okay? Dictates rulerships. The sons are grown up to be men of importance. The daughters are just married off to a man. But see, what happens is when you train your son up in the ways of the Lord and he finds a wife, then she already understands it because to the point he teaches her. And she follows his lead. So that's why the scriptures focus so much on the sons, because we're the leaders and the Lord is dealing with the men. Okay, you women, you're just under us, man. You learn through us. And that's how the Lord operates in the order. All right, Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is the bound of the heart of a child, but the rod of correction should drive it far from him. I mean, you got to beat their ass. All this talking back shit, nah, man. Well, I got to give my kid whatever they want so they don't despise me. Hell no. Fuck that shit. When we were younger and we did some folly, we found out about it real quick. You couldn't talk when grown folks was talking. Okay, you had a certain time you had to be in. You had to eat whatever they wanted you to eat. All right, you had to learn when to shut the. You had to call what you had to do what they call shut the fuck up. All this talking back shit, man. Hell nah. You get your teeth knocked into next week. Shit, watch Original Kings of Comedy when Bernie Mac went into that skit. So you get hit in your throat and your teeth click. When you try to, it hurts so bad you try to fucking cry, you can't cry. Take that shit 10 whole minutes for you to let out a shout because your fucking tongue is in the back of your throat. Now these children, man, they'll shoot their, hey, that one nigga, he shot his mother up, man, because she didn't buy him a goddamn video game, man. Oh, you ain't giving an iPhone 14 for Christmas. Hey, this nigga been ditching school, stealing, breaking in houses, and yeah, he's expecting to get an iPhone 14 and a PS5 and some Jordans for Christmas. And then you don't get it from him, all of a sudden he pull out a blicky on you and blow your ass away. So you in the times, man. All right? I just quoted that. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he should not depart from it. Right? Colossians 3:21, fathers, provoke ye not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. That's true. You do have that. Yesterday I did a video on Keisha being an enemy to the Israelite man. The last clip of that video was when that nigga woman was beating the shit out that little boy in front of them two other women, totally emasculating him. That's why it says here, provoke ye not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. He's going to grow up to be discouraged. He's going to be timid. He's going to be afraid. He ain't going to know how to stand up for himself. And then when he finally just snap, he's going to kill somebody. Okay, that's provoking him. He's discouraged. All right, so you got to be very careful on how you deal in these matters, man. But, hey, he did what he did, shit. That's his door. But this fucking feminist-ass world, provoking this. And look at this guy, her husband. He's all butthurt. But if you was in the right spirit, even within your culture, you should know that, you're supposed to hold up to the father's principles of marrying off the daughter. She couldn't just marry who the fuck she want to marry. But in this day and age, she can marry anybody. And that's the reason why a lot of these women end up with these losers, because their fathers don't have any discretion and they don't follow the laws. Okay, the scriptures say, marry thy woman to a man of understanding. Where's the fathers at in marriage? Okay, even then, if the father don't approve of the guy, she just gonna marry him any fucking way. Like sometimes, even in this day and age, when a man and a woman gets married and the father shows up, he may not necessarily approve of that. But she's still going to do it anyway because she disrespects and totally despises male authority. That's what happens. Prime example of that was in Players Club. Now, Diamond, right? Now, of course, they wanted to make her the golden child of the movie, but she was wicked too. Okay, pulling out guns on men and shit. She worked at a strip club. She was trying to make it in Esau's world. They tried to make it seem like she was just so innocent. And then when the simple ass nigga Jamie Foxx went to the father's house to take the daughter out, he was in the backyard and the father was shooting the damn gun at the beanbags, man. He said, "You sure you ain't going to Mosey Wozy?" He said, "The Mosey Wozy." He said, "Don't play dumb with me, boy. You know what the hotel is." And he shot the nigga in the rod, man, and the beanbag in the rod. But see, he was pretty much protecting his daughter. But if he really felt that way, he shouldn't allow her to go out. But then he didn't. He checked her about the club because he didn't want to work in there. But obviously, you didn't have too much influential power because she still did what she wanted to do, and she was talking back. "Don't start with me today, Daddy. Dang." Just that type of rebelliousness. That's why we got to get up out of here, man. All right, and she's proud as hell. Look at that, totally proud. And you think this guy was putting her in her place? No, he was simping for her. That's why you fucking men, you're just ridiculous, man. All right, this is the book of Numbers 12, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 14. It says, "And this is when Miriam opened her fucking mouth against Moses, and the Lord smote her with leprosy. She had to sit out the camp for 7 days because he said she was as one as the dead, which proved that Esau is of the dead, man, because he has that disease of leprosy." But it says here, "But the Lord said it to Moses." Because she opened her mouth. It says, "If our father had done nothing more than spit in her face." So that was a common thing. If you had a dishonorable daughter, when you spit in her face, you writing her off like, yeah, you for the streets now. You for the birds. I ain't got nothing to do with you. You spit in her face. And the Lord said it. He said, "If our father had done nothing more than spit in her face, wouldn't she have been defiled for 7 days?" Meaning she would have had some fucking humility about herself if she understood our place. He said at least he could have done was spit in her fucking face. At least she would have known not to run her fucking mouth. Because that's the problem. You women, you do shit out of turn. You talk out of turn, and you completely out of order. Okay? You talk out of turn. You're out of turn. You running around here like you have no discretion. Like I said, you totally despise male authority. And that's why, hey, you put her ass in the chokehold, man. I'm not making fun of it, but it's just what it is. I'm not mad at that, man. He did what the hell he felt he wanted to do. That's his daughter. He brought her in the world. Hey, he took her ass out. Now she's in the spirit world. Lord is like, shit, okay, yeah. You didn't respect your father? Okay, well, so be it. Come rest. I'll bring you back in a couple of generations, and then you're going to come back as a slave anyway. So accept it. But it says, "But if our father have done nothing more than spit on her face, wouldn't she be defiled for 7 days? So keep her outside the camp for 7 days, and after she may be accepted back." Lord had mercy on her ass, but hey, he said if our father spat in her face, because this is what we have to deal with as men in this society. If you have daughters, brothers in this kingdom, man, and they're not with you, the Spirit of the Lord really got to be on them or to protect your seed, man. Really on them to protect your seed. And you can see as they growing up, brothers got a good stock of children, that pretty much can decipher right from wrong. They get themselves in certain shit. But if you're doing the work of the Lord, sincerely, and it is out of your power, the Lord will find a way to deliver your seeds, man. I believe that, and I really believe that versus what some of these little children are doing, they're completely out their mind. But this is the book of Sirach 42, and I'm going to start at verses 8. It says, "Be not ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish in the extreme age that contended with those that are young." Man, you can't tell me none. I've been in this world 20 years longer than you. You know, these old niggas, man, they swooping down, they can tell these young cats something that's been in his knowledge, man. And then you got them young cats in this thing, like this guy Naquam. I call him Abbott. I've been on that guy since he came on the scene. I've been telling brothers he's a demon, man. Niggas proud as hell. Everybody knew what is the Watchman for Israel? That guy is a fucking demon. Naquam is not a man of the Lord. All right, lest he repent. You know, but when I said it, everybody, you know, it just went over everybody's head, and that's fine. But now everybody, Apostle the Heart called his ass out today in the video. So that guy's super proud. He is proud with his novice ass, man. He don't know shit. That's why I tell all you other camps, man, out there that started up, you're not the men of the Lord. Maybe some of you, but the ones of you that's the leaders of that congregation, you're not the men of the Lord. The Lord is going to call men from among you that's young, that actually got the ability to listen and to receive shit. But you head guys of these groups, very few of you may not make it, man. And I'm just being real, okay? And I'm just speaking through the spirit. You know, and if you repent, then beautiful. But Adam Abbott, man, the Watchman for Israel, you niggas are lightweight. You only been in this thing, what, 6 years? And I'm not saying like I'm just some expert, because clearly I'm not. But you guys, man, you don't have the audacity to buck up against men who you learn from. In the Naquam, you proud as hell, man. With that weak-ass breakdown on the mark of the beast. Then you use deflective tactics and try to bring out, can we deal with harlots or prostitutes? Can we sleep with white women? The long grape. And what else do we have to wear fringes and so forth like that? You deflect that because you trying to shine away from your own wickedness. And newsflash, yeah, we can deal with harlots or prostitutes. Look at Samson, man. Okay, didn't Hosea marry Gomer? Was she a prostitute? Didn't the Lord took her out of harlotry? And he had a kid with her and she committed adultery? And think about it today. You think your fucking women you deal with today, you think these hoes ain't got no price? Every fucking woman walking the streets of Babylon the Great or any westernized culture, they all are harlots, man. So you explain that. Because then Yahweh Shai call this an adulterous generation. Then the scripture say also that your wife should be a harlot in the city. The fuck is a harlot? A prostitute, man. And all these women got prices. Then niggas get technical. Well, a harlot or a prostitute is a person that sells her body for sex. Okay, Mr. Technical. But what about she's selling other products and services? Isn't that still harlotry, man? Whether she's selling you feet videos or titty nipple shots, nigga, it's still a prostitute. It's still prostitution because you're paying for a particular service that deals with sex, man. Like when you take a bitch out on a fucking date. Technically, nigga, you're buying it, right? That's she's prostituting because she wants your money for a good time and you want to get what's between her legs. Even your woman you marry in this kingdom is a fucking prostitute, man. So you can't use that argument. That's what I'm saying. Scriptures goes as the novice being puffed up with pride. But anyway, enough with you. We get on you later, cause I got a lot to say about him anyway. But regardless, it's through the spirit. It's not even important. I just know that they ain't right, you know. And them guys are proud as hell. And if you don't repent, Yahweh Shai is gonna destroy each and every last one of you guys. All right. But back to the point. It says, thou shalt be truly learned and approve of all men of living. Okay, but the father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth. And this is the situation here. The cared for her taketh away sleep. Okay, because then he said that he didn't want her living in there. He didn't want her living in that particular city. He said, nah, man, come home. I don't want you living there. It said clearly he was discontent with it. He was not content with that. But yet she didn't listen. So there you go. And it says, take it away sleep. And when she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age in being married, lest she should be hated, and her virginity, lest she should be defiled and guided with child in her father's house. And having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself. And when she is married, lest she should be barren. And she's totally misbehaving. People say, well, she was just an innocent YouTube blogger, X, Y, and Z. But have y'all seen some of the content she put out? It's folly. You know, it's folly. He's not taking the culture seriously. And then you got these feminist ass bitches here that's totally left now protesting that shit. You know, they don't play with that over there in that culture. She got the red dress on. You know, she probably done sold out to Esau. Salaki, I ain't mean to do that. Let me see something real quick. This is a big thing now. Trying to see if she have any particular YouTube videos. But whatever, it's not important. Everybody is all butthurt because, allegedly not allegedly, he put her to death. But okay, we just read the scriptures on it, so be it. But it says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. And she became shameless. She ain't even got her hair covered anymore. Lest she make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. And that's the point. Okay, these cultures, man, they take family very serious. Even in our culture, we do. Okay, that your family, that's your name, your legacy, your sons, that they keep your name going. The scriptures say a good name is better than fine gold. So if you have a rebellious son, he brings shame into the family. A rebellious daughter, that brings shame into the household. And she's disowned. And mainly with you women is very important because you definitely have a good reputation to upkeep. But, the West has gotten to the minds of the people. One more precept here. This is the book of Revelation 18, and I'm going to start at verses 3. It says, for all the nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. It says, the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of our delicacies, man. That's why the scripture said the nations are mad, man. It says they're pissed off. They're mad. Okay, they're not happy at this place because it's destroying a lot of lives and cultures, and innocent lives at that. Okay, which technically nobody's truly innocent, but you get the point. But I'm going to end it there. All praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and the Bible.